People can be cruel when they think someone has nothing. They laugh, they judge, and they forget that dignity doesn't wear designer clothes. That morning, a single sentence would expose their hearts. I just want to withdraw $20. And in seconds, a room full of well-dressed adults would learn a lesson they would never forget. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. This is Kindness Diaries, where real moments remind us that kindness can change lives, sometimes in ways no one expects. The man stood quietly at the bank counter, clutching a folded piece of paper with both hands. His jacket was worn thin at the elbows, his shoes scuffed and dusty, as if he had walked a long way just to get there. His hair was uncombed, his face tired, but his eyes were calm. The bank lobby was busy. Marble floors gleamed under bright lights. Screens flashed stock numbers. People in tailored suits checked their watches, clearly impatient. When the man finally stepped forward, the teller barely looked at him. "Yes," she asked, her tone flat. "I just want to withdraw $20. The man said softly. The teller glanced up this time. Her eyes flicked over his clothes, his hands, his face. Her lips tightened. "Do you even have an account here?" she asked. The man nodded and slid the paper forward. It was his account number, written neatly. She sighed loudly and typed it in, clearly annoyed. A man in line behind him snorted. "Probably a mistake," someone whispered. "Why are people like this even allowed in here?" The teller's fingers paused on the keyboard. Her face changed slightly, but she quickly masked it. She frowned and clicked again, as if the system must be wrong. "Sir," she said sharply, "there appears to be an error." The man's shoulders slumped. "That happens sometimes," he said kindly. "Could you please check again?" Now the manager had noticed. A tall man in a crisp suit walked over, arms crossed. "What seems to be the problem?" he asked. "This man wants to withdraw $20, the teller said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. The manager raised an eyebrow and looked the man up and down. "Sir, are you sure you're at the right bank?" The man met his eyes calmly. "Yes, sir. I've been banking here for a long time." That's when the mocking laughter started. A woman near the waiting chairs shook her head. "This is ridiculous." The manager leaned over the screen. His confident smile slowly faded. The room went quiet. He stared at the numbers. Then he blinked. Then he leaned closer. The teller's face went pale. The balance wasn't $20. It wasn't $200. It wasn't even $2,000. There were millions in the account. The manager straightened up so fast his chair nearly tipped. His voice changed instantly. "Sir," he said, suddenly polite, "would you like to step into my office?" The man shook his head gently. "I just need $20. The teller swallowed hard. Her hands trembled as she counted the bills. The same people who had mocked him were staring, frozen in disbelief. The man behind him took a step back, embarrassed. As the teller handed over the money, her voice was barely a whisper. I'm sorry." The man smiled, a small, tired smile. "It's okay," he said. The manager cleared his throat. "If you don't mind me asking, sir, why only $20? The man folded the bills carefully and looked around the room. His eyes rested on the people who had judged him so quickly. "I don't need much," he said. "And I don't believe money makes a person better." The manager nodded nervously. "Of course. If there's anything we can do for you." The man paused, then turned back. "Yes," he said. "There is something. There's a shelter 3 blocks from here," he continued. "I stop by every Thursday. They could use some help fixing their kitchen. I'd like this bank to cover it." The manager didn't hesitate. "Consider it done." The man thanked him and walked toward the exit. As the doors closed behind him, the lobby stayed silent. Later that afternoon, one of the tellers finally spoke. "I judged him," she said quietly. "I didn't even see a person. I saw clothes." The manager nodded. "So did I." What none of them knew was the man's story. Years ago, he had been a successful business owner. He lost his wife to illness. Then his home. Then everything else. Instead of chasing status again, he chose a simpler life. He invested wisely, lived humbly, and gave quietly. He didn't dress to impress. He didn't need approval. All he wanted was $20 for groceries and bus fare. And what he gave in return was something far more valuable, a moment of truth. That day, every person in that bank learned the same lesson. Kindness should never depend on appearance. Respect should never be earned by wealth. And humility often walks in wearing old shoes. If this story touched you, let it remind you of something simple. The next time you meet someone who looks different, speaks softly, or asks for very little, treat them with kindness anyway. Because you never know the story they're carrying or the lesson they're about to teach. Spread kindness. It always comes back.